Hi again. Today, I want to talk about being scared, being afraid, and having fear. There are all these different pieces that come together to create a little bit of chaos, a lot of anxiety, and some confusion in our relationships.
Hey, I'm Lydia. I used to be an ordinary stay-at-home mom and wife. We had 2 kids, and for 3 years, everything was perfect until we got pregnant again. But this time with quadruplets. There was so much stress going from a family of 4 to a family of 8 overnight, so I created a system for renewing our relationships. This channel is dedicated to sharing that system, every single part of it. I love teaching how to connect, manage emotions, and turn it all into growing together times. You're going to find all that information right here.
Well, first of all, they're all different things. Being scared is totally different than living in fear. Let me explain, because that sometimes can sound like the same thing. Being in a fearful state is where being afraid has taken over and there's no hope. Okay, there's a lack of hope if we're living in fear. We just are afraid of what's coming, what someone else is going to think of us. What if I do this? What if I do that? And rejection is a big part of this living in fear, and experiencing rejection over and over and over in our past affects us now and can put us into a state of fear where we don't hope to connect with that person that we love or want to love. And we have this lack. And that's what fear is living in lack of hope. Okay, so being afraid and being scared is not necessarily living in fear, because you can still have faith and hope in better and bigger, awesome things, and still be kind of afraid and worried that somebody's going to reject you, but still have that hope and still act in that faith. With the hope, even though we're scared and afraid of what might happen, we can still act in the faith and not live in the fear. Fear reduces our ability to act. So, what do we do about it? And how do we improve our relationships and still be scared? Because really, being scared is one of those emotions that as a human, we're going to experience. In the month of October, we have what's called Halloween in the United States. And my sister is so amazing at this, okay? And she's decorating her yard and getting all these googly, scary things, but it's fun for her, okay? Here's another example of being scared. Roller coasters. Amusement parks are so amazing. You go on the roller coaster on purpose because people love to be afraid and have that feeling in our gut, the butterflies fluttering all around. And then we put our arms up and go on the roller coaster and scream. And it's totally awesome if you're riding a roller coaster to scream and have those emotions. But those feelings are exactly the same physically as being afraid of rejection or approaching someone to apologize or all these other possibilities. And we don't want to yell at the people when we're having these emotions. And so there's a study recently that was done that our heart rate, when our heart beats faster, we're in a heightened sense of emotion. And it doesn't matter if it's a good emotion from exercising on a roller coaster or if it's from anxiety and anger and fear. It's when our heart beats faster. It makes us in a heightened state of emotion because our physical bodies react to emotions. And it depends on what we label those emotions, on how we see that story evolving, what we project the result will be. And that all combines to create what we call emotions, right? Our emotional state. And this is what really affects our relationships. So what if we just take that emotion that we're calling fear and change it to excitement? Because it's physically extremely similar, literally like the same thing. We get those feelings of butterflies, we get our heart racing a little bit more, we want to yell and scream. What if we just changed that up and said, this is excitement. I'm excited to go and apologize to my husband. I'm excited to go and see if he'll accept my apology instead of that dreading, oh no, what if he doesn't? What if the what ifs get in the way? Well, what if we just did it and see what happens without contemplating or dwelling on the possibilities and all of the other experiences that could be? What if we just let it be? What if we didn't plan out the end result and we just said, yeah, I need to go apologize. I'm going to go be first. I'm going to say I'm sorry first and see what happens. And just let it go and let it be. I think that's really an amazing skill to have. We can develop these skills over time and just practice saying, okay, I feel this. My heart's racing. I'm going to call it something positive. I'm going to call it excitement. I'm going to call it hope instead of fear. And it's okay to be scared and just still have that hope and act in faith regardless of the outcome. That's what faith is. That's what acting in faith builds trust. This is how we build that trust in our relationship that we so desire to have more trust and more faith, more faithful relationships, more connected relationships is acting in faith and having that trust in the other person that my spouse is going to trust me, that I can trust my spouse, that we have faith and hope that things are going to work together and we're going to have a long-lasting, successful, happy, cooperative, friendship-based relationship. That's a faith-based idea. It builds trust when we act in faith. We can be scared and do it anyway. So, what are you going to be doing today? How are you going to approach this? Here's what I'm going to be doing. I am going to say, maybe my husband didn't call me on his lunch break today. Okay, that can cause some anxiety. Maybe, what's another example? Maybe he didn't answer my text and it feels like he's ignoring me. That's a lot of anxiety producing things in some of my clients where their husband doesn't respond in a timely manner. Well, okay, maybe he just didn't have time, actually really didn't have time to respond in a timely manner. Maybe he's figuring out how to respond. Maybe he just logged that in as, okay, I got a message, check it off. Maybe he doesn't even know he's expected to respond. So if that's the case, I'm going to say to my husband, sweet husband, I need you to acknowledge that I'm talking to you. I would really, really like you to respond when I send you a message. I would really, really appreciate it if you called me on your lunch break. So we're wrapping everything in gratitude, everything in I appreciate it when you respond to my texts fast. Instead of attacking and living in that fear base, that hopelessness of, oh no, he's not responding. And we can get worried about him being hurt in a car accident or something crazy. It doesn't matter if we're thinking he's not going to call us for whatever reason. If we wrap it in gratitude and hope and faith and trust are kind of very similar, then it's a completely different conversation. And you can see this. You can see this when you say, why didn't you call me? Blah, blah, blah. It's very different from, I missed you calling me today. I would appreciate getting a phone call or a message. So different. It is so different to go into a conversation starting with gratitude, and faith can get us there. Acting in faith, even if we're scared, helps us when we're wrapping it in gratitude. Wrap our relationship, wrap our loved ones in gratitude. That is so magical when we can approach a conversation. It doesn't matter what the result's going to be. I'm going to do it anyway. And then wrap it in gratitude. And I appreciate it when. I appreciate you when is even better. I appreciate you. And I love having more time, more connection. And when I want to improve that connection, here's one way that I can feel more connected. And then tell them what you want. Say, I really need you to call me or text me at this time or that time, whatever it is. And it's a much better conversation when we go into it with faith and trust. Okay, so to wrap it all up, to sum up our conversation here today, fear and being scared are totally different things. Fear is the lack of hope. You can be scared and still act in faith and build more trust. Wrap it all up in gratitude and build that relationship. Get it stronger because you can do it and you know it's worth it.